Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Wanted to talk to you guys about Clancy. It's been out for a couple of weeks now, and I feel like I've had time to digest it and listen to every song a lot of times, and I wanted to share some thoughts with you. I still owe you guys a couple of videos, so here we go. Quick note before we begin. There were some smart Alex in the comments of the last video that were like, "Oh, he's wearing the same shirt that he wore when he made his going away video." And that's because this is the only shirt that I own, okay? I literally have not taken it off since any of those videos. I literally only wear this shirt. So if you could please keep your smart alecky comments to yourself, that would be appreciated. Let's talk Clancy. So Clancy is a continuation of the Trench era, right? We had Trench, Scaled and Icy, and now we've got Clancy, and it's supposed to be the final one. We're still waiting for the Paladin Strait music video, and I kind of wanted to wait to do this video until it came out, but then it just kept not coming out, and we gotta talk about this. So here we are. This album has been really, really fun. Musically, I've really enjoyed a lot of the songs here. There are some that feel just like a little bit slow and dirgy, and like, come on, I want something more to grab on here. But there is a steady stream of very specific themes throughout it that I found fascinating. And what we're going to go over today is basically what those themes are, what songs contribute to them, and answer the question, what is this album as a whole about? And I think that is the thing that I can probably contribute the most to further discussions of Clancy. But before we do that, I want to tell you about a couple of other little projects I've been working on. Number one has been College Hacked, my second YouTube channel where we help adults and students and everybody else go to college quickly and inexpensively so they can build a career that they love. And this is a huge passion project for me. We've literally helped hundreds and hundreds of clients and then thousands, actually 1.5 million viewers figure out how they can actually graduate from college quicker and cheaper. So, maybe you are in college now, thinking about college, or you are in your 30s or 40s or 50s and you never got a college degree and you're like, oh, I'd like to go back and get one to, help with my career prospects. That's something that we help people do in a matter of like $6,000 and in under a year, super regularly from an accredited, legitimate school. And we're really passionate about that. I feel like we're changing the world in a small way doing that. And it is a lot of fun. So you can check out that channel. Link will be in the description. And then the other project is a little newsletter I just started called Past the Dragon. And the point there is to analyze legendary sci-fi and fantasy so that we can learn what makes really good stories and even try to write some of our own. I'll do a little quick... There. Nope, you didn't see it. But that's the beginning of a story that I'm trying to write and we'll be publishing very soon over on Past the Dragon. If you'd like to check that out, if you care about sci-fi or fantasy or reading really good books, I'd love to invite you over there to come check it out. So something I noticed as I was reading through the lyrics of the Clancy album is that there are certain songs that seem to be about the exact same thing as each other. And so I had this idea, let's go through and make categories for song topics, and we'll group the songs according to those topics and see what's going on in this album. And I have to say that there was one topic in particular that had so many of the songs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost, well, just missing 4 songs that weren't part of that. And I think that's the mega theme. We're going to kind of save that for last, but I want to go through some of the other stuff. Every time a 21 Pilots album comes out, there's usually at least 1, if not 2, maybe 3 songs about the creative writing process. And we had Backslide, Lavish, and Snap Back. Backslide, I think, was maybe the least one. He talks about kind of wishing that I had never did Saturday. Talks about his $100 bass, which is going to be a cheap bass. I used to be the champion of a world you can't see. I'm assuming Trench. Now I'm drowning in logistics. Or maybe, he was thinking about the internal world, the internal fight, and now he's an adult who has to worry about payroll and schedules and things like that. And then we have Lavish, which seems to be a critique of the music industry at large, is kind of my best guess. Based on some of the things that I've been seeing. You try to look your best, like this is not your first try. You brought the right equipment to put on a show, and then we just talk about trying to seem cool. And then Snapback is about trying to pull it together so that you can be there for the fans. So that was theme number 1. Theme number 2 is this idea, like talking about friends who are there to support you. And I saw this in Backslide, Midwest Indigo, Navigating at the Risk of Feeling Dumb, and Paladin Strait. That has always been kind of a big theme for Tyler Joseph's lyrics. I think we saw especially a lot of that in more recent albums. Particularly on this track, there was Paladin Strait. Just seeing a little bit of you on the other shoreline, that'll get me across. That's the hope I need. At the risk of feeling dumb, go check in on your friends, even if they say, hey, don't drop your plans for me. Midwest Indigo is about a relationship that's going through some hard times. You can be so cold, I'll try again. You make me sad and second guess myself. You can be so cold. Navigating, I know you see me standing still, but when our fingers touch, I feel my way back home. And you could even say that the Craving, which is about Jenna and Tyler's relationship, is also kind of about friendships and relationships as well. Then, of course, we have what has become the obligatory song about Jenna, which is The Craving. We've had one like that ever since Blurry Face. Something I noticed that I wasn't expecting is this theme of being led, which seems to show up on 3 different songs: Backslide, Vignette, and Navigating. Navigating, basically he's talking about, I'm navigating, I'm trying to find my way home, I disassociate, I'm navigating my head, give me some advice, basically asking for somebody else to help. In Vignette, he asks, where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? Really asking for someone to lead him and tell him what to do next. And then in Backslide, we get very literal, I don't care, you control me, leading me anywhere. And I think that kind of ties in with the theme of friendship, because you're basically saying, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I need somebody else. And honestly, I'm so lost that I need somebody else to take control because I keep messing things up, which we're going to come back to that theme in just a second as well. Actually, no, we're there. Addiction / the recurring of something bad. And we see this in Backslide. The title itself shows that. Routines in the Night, where we're going through the house and looking at the rooms that are blocked off, but we keep doing it. Vignette, Snap Back. I've got to get this back together. And then Oldie Station. I don't feel like on 21 Pilots albums I've seen the theme of addiction quite so dramatic as it has been on this album. In the chorus, got a bad feeling that I'm about to break, been a good streak, but the pressure's overweight, etc., running from a thing that I kicked in 17. There was something that he was struggling with that he felt like he overcame the year before Trench came out, and now he feels like, it's still chasing me, it's still there, it hasn't gone away. It feels indecorous to try to theorize as to what the personal struggle that he might have been going through at the time is, and not that I would condemn any of you for trying to guess, but I just don't want to do that. But you have this exact same theme playing out in Backslide, where we go in and say, rat race, place to place, adding weight, literally that idea of weight again, tendencies on repeat. I don't want to backslide to where I've started from. There's no chance I will shake this again. Like, if it catches up to me, I'm screwed. Really, Backslide and Snapback are basically lyrically the same song in a lot of ways. And because we haven't talked about it yet, I'll emphasize Oldie Station as another example here. Fear of the past and relative pain, future's coming fast, you've got nothing in the tank, make an oath, then, and it's basically, okay, I have this addiction, I have this problem, I'll never do it again. Make an oath, then make mistakes. Start a streak you're bound to break. When darkness rolls on you, push on through, which is a really nice positive push there. And we just have this full picture of something coming to haunt him from his past that he continues to struggle with, has struggled with, felt like he had this victory, and now he's being dragged back down, thinking it's only a matter of time. Which, even if we don't know what the exact thing is, that's something that I think just about anybody can relate to. I know that I can relate to that. Now we come to the big theme. And this big theme is a very familiar one with 21 Pilots, and that's songs about internal distress. And yeah, like 9 songs on this album. Next Semester, Backslide, Midwest Indigo, Routines in the Night, Vignette, Navigating, Snapback, Oldie Station, and Paladin Strait are all about struggling with like this internal demon that haunts us. And I feel like I don't have to say a ton about it, because if you've listened to Vessel, if you've listened to Blurry Face, if you've listened to Trench and a lot of Scaled and Icy and a lot of, the original self-titled, you know how this goes. So I'll just highlight some songs that we haven't touched on yet. Next Semester, Can You Die of Anxiousness? It's a taste test of what I hate less. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. What's about to happen? I remember certain things, what I was wearing. I prayed those lights would take me home. Is this a reference to suicide or just being in the wrong place at the wrong time? That's a difficult one to parse out. I might suffocate. There's a pressure in my chest. I don't want to be here. Midwest Indigo, we have some of the most beautifully written language on this entire album. Running late, so I didn't have the time to scrape the frosted windshield like we're barely scraping by. Concentrate on the little gap in the ice that seems to be about as wide as our chances. I mean, the metaphor and the visual imagery, I think, is beautiful. I think he did a really, really good job on this one. And then there's that line, it's a different blue, it's deeper than it's been. I'll be pulling into the parking lot before the heat kicks in, which you can relate to if you've lived somewhere cold. But it just says so much more. Like, that image alone is more powerful than the sum of the words themselves. And I think any of us can read that, think about it in this context of internal struggles and relationships, and be able to put metaphors together and say, oh yeah, I felt that same way too. Again, on navigating, we have this idea of disassociation. I'm navigating in my head. Disassociate, give me some advice. I'm wasting all this time. Don't know how long it's been. Don't know how long it's been since I responded to your question. If you really want to know what I'm thinking, kind of feels like everybody leaves, feeling the reality that everybody leaves. My dad just lost his mom. I think that everybody leaves. And then we come to Paladin Strait. I can't be alone. I guess I never told you so, making my way towards you, which brings up the idea of At the Risk of Feeling Dumb, the song about checking on your friends who might be struggling with something really heavy. And we kind of bring to head this imagery of this thing catching up on verse 2, standing on the shore, staring down a hurtling storm, making its way toward me. Water rips with rage, endless rows of angry waves, making its way towards me, as if though that thing, maybe that's what you're referring to, that thing from 2017 is on its way to come get me, and I'm just trying to stay ahead, and I'm going to try to swim across, but I don't know if I can make it. But if I have a friend there, then maybe I can, which if you've watched the music videos for this whole saga and for this album in particular, you know that seems to basically sum up most of the idea here. Like, we have these bishops, we have this weather, we have this island, we have all of these struggles, all these internal things going on. But if we have a friend who checks on us, who helps us, who we can be there for, you just see it again and again in their imagery, right? Then we have a chance. It's a sure thing. It's then we have a chance. And that leads us into our final category, songs about getting better. I think positive-ish songs. Overcompensate, I think, has a level of positivity to it. I created this world to feel some control, and so that's a step forward, right? And then some positivity and some confidence. Don't sleep on me, basically. Bless your ears while you react. Next semester is all about, hey, I'll try again next semester. I have this chance for a redo because, nothing too bad happened this time. Oldie Station has some positivity in there. In the chorus, we repeat push on through right after we say when darkness rolls on you, kind of like in Paladin Strait. And then we have Paladin Strait, which brings us back to this theme of, I can do it with a friend. I would swim the Paladin Strait. I do this really tough thing that I don't want to do as I try to escape from, my demons without any flotation, taking a big risk, just a glimpse of visual aid of you on the other shoreline. You give me the strength to do this, waiting expectations that I'm going to make it. Positive, right? If still a little bit depressing. All right, I got to bring this to a wrap. That's my breakdown of the themes and what's going on in this album. That's the big message. The big story is not Clancy goes from the island to do this thing, to do that thing. The big story is person struggles with something from their past that is catching up to them. They use the power of a friend who helps them and cares about them to try to make it through, even if sometimes that friendship is rocky, as we see in some of these other songs. And I mean, that is what Clancy is about. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So as far as my thoughts on this album, I'm going to do a video where I rank the songs from my least favorite to my favorite. But I'll say that musically, I really enjoyed a lot of songs on this album. Midwest Indigo, Lavish, and Next Semester musically were probably my three favorites, though I do really like The Craving. The Craving and Backslide and Snap Back, lyrically, I felt like I really connected to. Oh, and that's funny, too, because I put Backslide and Snap Back. They're both basically lyrically the same kind of song. So it makes sense that I would feel that connection to both of them and not just one. The Craving is great. Like, as a husband and a dad of two kids, I really need to hear songs like that. Like, it's encouraging, and I'll talk about more why in the next video. If I had to rank this album among the other 21 Pilot albums, it's not as good as Trench. Trench was just super solid, super tight, hardly a miss song on there, whereas I think there are a couple songs on this album that are a little bit on the weaker side. Yeah, which we'll get into in the next video. But I would say that it's probably above Blurry Face. Blurry Face was really, really good in a lot of ways, thematically, conceptually, musically, lyrically. But this feels like we've got a little bit more of a focus in on something and the theme is a more complicated, difficult theme. Blurryface was a single character. This album is telling this thematic meta story, and I think that that's more impressive than what was captured by Blurryface. So yeah, I really enjoyed Clancy. I was kind of surprised that I did, because Scaled and Icy wasn't my favorite album that 21 Pilots had put out. I think they were playing into the lore of like, hey, the band is being controlled by Dima for their nefarious purposes, and so that's why the music is such and such a way. And I feel like I just didn't want to listen to propaganda music from Dima. I wanted to listen to what 21 Pilots had to say, right? And so the lore kind of got in the way of the enjoyment of it for me. And in general, like, we started doing lore stuff back in, 2018, maybe it was in 2017 when everything went dark, and it was too much for me to keep track of with work and with projects and kids and a wife and friends and everything else going on. I couldn't commit the time to the lore that I think it would have taken for me to really get a ton out of it. And I did it first, right? I put a lot of effort in it first. There was a lot of good videos that we put out together with research from people from this fan base and other places. But as time went on, like, it's 2024, it's been like 7 years since the first bit of lore started coming out about this whole cycle, this trench cycle. That was, I think, too long for me to stay super interested and have that same kind of enthusiasm anytime something came out and I had to like drop it and go. So I just kind of wanted some really excellent songs with some soul-searching topics and some boppy 21 Pilots music, and I feel like I got that with this album. I feel like they did a good job of balancing the lore with the music and with the lyrics and the concepts and everything else. And they did all of that without repeating Trench. I felt like we went deeper into an aspect of it, this friendship, this addiction, that you know, all of that good stuff. Good stuff. That's one way of putting it. And so I really appreciate and respect what they did with the album. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll talk to you guys next time. And please go check out College Hacked. Maybe I can help you out there, even if you're just watching videos, and you can learn about how, you know, if you're looking at college, maybe you can just skip the first year of college and be able to save 30 grand. And I would love to be able to play that part in your life. And then check out Past the Dragon, my literary/fiction newsletter. I'd love to write some stories with you guys. There's going to be some good stuff there. I've got that short story that I sort of like flashed the image of at the beginning of the video, is about a guy who lives in Las Vegas, where I live, and then asteroids come, and he's the only person left in the town, and he has to go on an adventure across the city to find something that he really wants. So I hope that's going to be coming posting soon. I'll have a link in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.